Hey everybody, welcome to Trading the Close. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at VerifiedInvesting.com. Wow, what a market sell today. Amazing because usually there's a hangover day, post-holiday weekend. You come back, there's a slow volume day, there's no major news, no major earnings. Not today. NASDAQ down 3%, S&P down 2%, Russell is down 3% as well. Markets are in free fall. I was thinking about it and I said, wow, what's the difference? Well, the difference to me is that in August, especially the second half of August, we had the markets floating up on retail investors buying every little dip as institutional money was on vacation. These institutional guys, they go away for literally 2 straight weeks the end of August before kids go back to school. And my guess is those big wigs, those big institutional traders are back and they are like, sell it all. Just get out of it. All right, now listen, does that mean we're not going to have bounces? No, there's going to be great bounces along the way. That's why I'm a swing trader, because I want to take advantage of these. But today, folks, is no doubt a major sell-off day. All right, into the charts we go. Let's look at our heat map first. Look at that heat map, folks. Holy cow, the red on this heat map. Look at this. Nvidia down almost 10% today. Let's understand what's going on here. So in my opinion, Nvidia earnings last week were okay. They were decent. They were solid. They were very good. Were they good enough to justify the valuation? The answer is no. And retail investors were okay with it. Institutions are saying the best days, at least stock price-wise, are behind Nvidia, and they are dumping it tremendously today, down 9.54%. The bloodbath is not ending there. You got Apple down over 3%, Microsoft down 2%, Google down 4%. I mean, these are major numbers for multi-trillion-dollar companies. Now, again, for me as a swing trader, if you're part of our society here at Verified Investing, a member, well, this is great opportunity, right? We're getting big flushes, panic, and again, if it continues for a few days, we'll get some sort of bounce, not quite as big as what we saw in early August with that type of bounce, but I do think we will get bounces. We'll look at the charts. All right, even over here, guys, pretty much all red across the board, a few little green tabs here, but for the most part, a nasty day. Dow down 660 points. NASDAQ is down 611 points, 3.5%, guys. That is a huge move. All right, again, wow to see the NASDAQ down almost equal to what the Dow is, but the Dow is 41,000. This is 17,100. Incredible there. The S&P is down 131 points, 2.3%. Oil is getting crushed. You guys remember, I told you early last week I was short oil. There's the results right there. That's technical analysis 101. Look at the charts, understand how many hits of a trend line it takes to break. Proof is in the pudding. That's one of the reasons why I love trading the close in the game plans, because I get to demonstrate my abilities to read the charts for you guys to prove the methodology that I use. Gold today down fractionally, down about 0.25%, and Bitcoin is taking a little bit of a hit, almost down 2%. Although, again, Bitcoin had a good bounce yesterday on the holiday day, so again, it's kind of erasing that back to about 58,000. Let's get into the charts here, guys. Let's see what we have in store. So if we bring up the charts, here's the S&P 500. Take a look at this. What's amazing about today's price action, and we're on the 10-minute chart, so each one of these is 10 minutes long. This is basically where we closed on Friday right here. This is where we opened today. But if you look at this, were there any significant bounces? And the answer is no, not really, right? You went down, then you went sideways, you went down, sideways, down. The one positive, if you want a silver lining here on the 10-minute chart, see this candle right here, right there? That is what we call a bottoming tail. Now, granted, it's occurring at the end of the day, but that could signal a little bit of upside coming maybe early tomorrow. Maybe we get a little small bounce back at the start of the day. We'll have to watch and see. But that's the one positive. That's the first time today we have seen a bottoming tail on the S&P 500, which again is a reversal signal for those of you that may not know your charts. Okay, so here we go. And look at that nice little bounce starting here on that. If we flip over to Nvidia here, Nvidia is trying to catch a little bit of a bid, but honestly, same thing. And we know Nvidia is basically the market, right? I mean, it is one and the same at this point. Down move, sideways, down move, sideways. And again, trying to form a little bit of a base here, but not having much success just yet, as again, it is under pressure. But again, this is a massive move down on Nvidia. If we look at the daily chart, look at this, guys. Incredible. Now, what I love showing here is that if we look at this chart here and we zoom out, I had this level. I went over this level with you guys. This high, through here, here, and here, right there we talked about being resistance. These are the lines that I had on last week. Even when we were up into it, we talked about that. Now we're coming down. Where is your technical level of support going to be? Likely going to be right here around 100. That'll be some support. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't see an Nvidia bounce tomorrow. I actually think that it's so oversold short term, you probably get a reprieve of a $3 to $5 bounce at some point between, let's say, today's close and at some point tomorrow. But my expectation, a little bit of a bounce, and then it rolls over and comes into this level here. The question just, again, becomes how much of a bounce do we see? All right, so Nvidia again down 9.5% or $11. This, again, prior to today was basically a $3 trillion company and obviously shedding 10% or about $300 billion just in today's session. Now think about this, add in Google's drop, Apple's drop, Microsoft, Meta, all of these others, and you're easily shedding $1 trillion in market cap today just amongst those major companies. All right, I wanted to show this real quick, guys, on the SMH. Big drop on the SMH today. If we flip out here, we can see here, and I want to just flip this from, to regular charts. What we do have is a key trend line right here. This is going to be your first support on the SMH. You can see very clearly, let me get that out of the way there for you guys. But if we look at this, right, we have this area here. There's also a trend line right through this area going back, but basically lots of support. So right around 218 to 220, we should see that, and that might coincide with a short-term low on Nvidia as well. So watch that, but we are coming in here. Now just remember, when you have a trend line, here, let's draw this in. The methodology, and this is the same methodology I used for my oil short, is that you hit it once, okay? 2, get a bounce. 3, get a bounce. 4, remember, what do I say on 4? 4 is a 50-50. So do you break down or do you bounce? It's a 50-50, right? Now, if you bounce, what ends up happening? You get a small bounce usually, and then the next time down, probabilities favor by about a 70% margin that you get a breakdown. So the idea is, as we're looking at some of these trend lines, you have to start looking at how many times you've hit them to kind of determine whether or not you're going to break down significantly, all right? So we have to watch these very closely. Speaking of oil, we'll go into oil in just a second here. Let's just touch base on Bitcoin. Bitcoin today, if we flip over and we zoom in a little bit, it is down, but honestly, considering the S&P today, considering the NASDAQ, I would consider this a win for Bitcoin. The fact that it's holding at least at this point. Nothing new to report here. Pivot line is here, so you remain bearish until it gets above the pivot line and confirms, and bearishness means it could test this 53,500 level right there. Going to oil real quick, let's look at the U.S. oil chart. U.S. oil here, and if we flip over here, I mean, this is the methodology perfectly, right? Oil's getting crushed down 5% today, and what we can see here is that same exact methodology that I was just going over, which is the amount of hits. Here's 1, 2, well, 2 and right in here, 3, 4, 5, and then again right here. And that's even considering, I don't even know if we should consider this a hit. Let me just take that away. It didn't actually hit there. So this would be 4, and then you have 5 there on the break point. So again, that's where you get that high probability of a breakdown on oil. Now, if we're looking at copper, copper's getting crushed today. Silver's down big. Oil's down big. What is this telling us? The markets have gone from being in this mode of saying, oh, don't worry about it, we're going to have a soft, perfect landing. That was last week. That's ancient history, right? Now we're at a point where it's like, holy cow, the economy is slowing dramatically. Isn't it amazing how psychology can change? Now, granted, is September one of the worst, or it actually is the worst month historically? Yes. I don't really put much stock in that, but yes, it is, and it obviously is starting out poorly for many asset classes here. Quickly just going to natural gas, then we'll touch on gold. Natural gas actually showing some signs of life today, but it is into resistance, right? You have resistance right up here. So it is coming in. If we get through this 230, 235 level, your 255 level is next. Is there an opportunity? Sorry for my bad handwriting there, but is there an opportunity here? The answer is no, nothing yet. You're into resistance. I'm not gutsy enough to short it here. It's not extended enough, and I'm certainly not going to be buying in this level. Let's look at gold real quick here. If we bring up gold, gold is again coming down just ever so slightly. Gold, again, safety asset, right? So it's actually performing relatively well. It's still down a little bit, but it's performing relatively well right here. We'll watch to see how that goes. And then lastly, silver, guys. We got to look at silver real quick. And silver having another down day, kissing this technical support around 27.50, but still holding above it. And again, remember, silver performs much more like copper. It's kind of basically a good way to think about silver is if you took copper's performance and gold's performance and merged them, that would be silver. So again, if copper's dumping out, silver's going to go down most likely, but maybe not as much as copper because it has that gold element, that scarcity aspect and store of value aspect as well. All right, so again, watch for support on silver around 27.50. If it breaks that, 26.50 will be our next level. Listen, this market could get very crazy here in the coming days. I will do my best to always walk you guys through what the technicals are telling us. Right now, the markets were telling us they were overbought short term. We obviously, in the game plan this morning, I went over the Dow chart going back to 1899 and a trend line on the logarithmic chart that honestly freaked the heck out of me. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but you can always, if you didn't watch it, go watch that morning video of the game plan. It is very insightful. So you get stuff like that, and what it does is it doesn't necessarily mean I'm shorting everything, but I'm very selective on my longs, put it to you that way, and I'm much more likely to be short some of these major indexes like the NASDAQ and so on and so forth. Now today I did cover some positions in smart money stocks. I exited my VXX for like a 12+% gain. That had a huge pop, the VXX's volatility. We took profits on the SOX, which is a short ETF based on the SMH or the semiconductors. So there was lots of good action, but again guys, it's going to get wild. I fear that the economy is going to start to spiral. I will be here to walk you through and help you look at the charts basically proactively and get probability on your side. That's what technicals are all about. You guys have a great one as always. Thank you so much for tuning in to Verified Investing. I'll see you tomorrow.